Hello, my beautiful souls. Doris Victoria here. Welcome to today's video. It is a wonderful and powerful time. This week, my dear one, is all about new beginnings. We're having this powerful new moon on Wednesday here in Central European time. And we had a solar eclipse with it. There was a powerful solar eclipse on the same day of the new moon. So new moons are, I talked about this a little bit in my past videos, new moons are always a powerful time for new beginnings, for all of you setting new intentions. Like for example, you want to stop smoking, you want to eat less sugar, you want to start a vegetarian diet, whatever you have been planning in the past, now is the most wonderful time to start it, because the new moon is supporting all new beginnings. The solar eclipse, the sun is always representative of our consciousness. And this is what's happening right now. For those of you watching my videos, you know that we are going through strong solar flares, strong solar eruptions. Now the sun is our consciousness. It represents the young energy, the active energy. And when we have a solar eclipse, when the sun is actually covered and it gives a shadow to the earth, that's when we are actually invited to go within and to look at our shadows, to look at our kind of like traumas that we haven't healed yet. And this is why I love what I do, because as a coach, we have this pleasure to help our clients to heal these wounds and to create a safe space to look at those wounds. And this is what I have done with myself all my life. And I'm still in the process, we will never get it done, because the entire life is kind of like a school for us as we have chosen to be here. So anyway, back to the sun. The sun is inviting us to go within, to really look at our shadows and invite them, embrace and welcome the energy, even though it's painful, even though we have always denied it because it was just too painful to look at. Now is the time to really invite those emotions in and look at them with love, and knowing that you are no longer that version that has experienced it, but you have grown ever since that happened into a different version of yourself. So now you can meet these traumas, these emotions, these sadnesses, sorrows, angers, despairs, whatever it is, you can meet them with a different angle of perspective, because you have evolved into a new version. You are a different one. You're more courageous now. We are wiser. Every breath, if we choose, makes us wiser. So, and it's also so amazing, the times, because we just had the equinox. We just had the 21st of September, which is the beginning of autumn. It is the beginning of everything slowing down. The wheel of life is starting to spin slower. Everything is kind of calming. When you go into nature and you look at nature, the animals are not as active anymore as they were in spring or in summer, because the season has ended. Now they're searching for food. The fields are giving their harvest, the trees are giving their harvest. And isn't that a wonderful time where we can go into our divine feminine and receive all those blessings that fruit trees, fields, I love to go into the forests right now and see if I find mushrooms that I know that I love to eat, and prepare them in a loving way, thanking Mother Earth for nourishing me. I mean, it's a wonderful time. So we are invited already to go within, to start slowing down our rhythm of life, just like nature does. And I know the society is not necessarily made in a way that we are able to do this, because if you are working a 9-to-5 job from Monday to Friday, you still have to appear on work. You can't just take days off and say to your boss, no, I'm hibernating now. I'm not coming to work. I mean, imagine it would be that way. And if we would all do it, wouldn't it be a wonderful world? Anyway, so yeah, we are really invited to look at these shadows right now and to embrace them. And what helps me, what I want to share with you, what is always helping me when I am confronted with emotions that are feeling uncomfortable, the most important traveling that we as human beings are invited to do is the travel from our head to our hearts. And isn't that a beautiful, beautiful metaphor? I mean, for me, I have lived on 3 different continents in 6 different countries. I have traveled the world. When I was on those different continents, I traveled the countries, most of the countries on these continents. And I haven't seen all of the earth yet, but I've traveled a lot, let's say. But the most important traveling that I've ever done is going into my heart. And this is what I shared with you in, I think, my last video when I shared the story of the Golden Buddha. I was talking about this beautiful Rumi poem when Rumi ventured out to find God or Source. Where did Rumi find it? In his heart. We try to kind of, mentalize this concept of Source, but it is simply not possible. No words have been invented yet to put words on this feeling of oneness that we will feel once we go into our hearts and we find Source in our hearts. So the solar eclipse is really inviting us, along with the equinox, along with us going into winter time and the new moon, new beginnings, to look where we have been holding our power back. Because as Marianne Williamson said, our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our biggest fear is that we are powerful beyond measures. So where are you holding your power back still? And this is a work that I'm doing every day with myself, and I love it because it brings so much insight. And as I said, the most important thing is to welcome everything with love and compassion and understanding that you are an innocent child of God. You are not judged for your mistakes. You are loved beyond your imagination. That's what Rumi said. He was asking philosophers and scholars about the concept of Source or God, but God was way beyond their understanding. It is only when we go back into our hearts that we will find that feeling of oneness, of belonging, of power, of infinite joy and possibilities. Because limitations are only existing in our head. They are not existing in our hearts. So, to this beautiful story that I want to share with you today, as we are invited to look at our shadows. Hopefully it helps you. Once upon a time, there was a galactic council that had a plan of a human being. And they were creating planet Earth. And they were creating planet Earth kind of like a playground for human beings to do their voyage, their traveling, remembering back for them to remember who they are, kind of like a playground where children play. So they saw humankind as kind of like a child. They created their humans, were their babies, they created them, and they were like, okay, now this human being is a powerful, powerful being. Where do we put the secret of who humans truly are? Let's put it into the planets. So the Galactic Council was like, okay, let's put it into the planets. Kind of like for human beings to find out who we are. If we come back here to this playground, how do we find the most precious of all truths that ever existed? And that is the truth that you are loved, that you are unique, that you are amazing, no matter what other people think about you. No matter if you received the love that you needed or not, you are loved by that power that created you. That power that you are, that chose to create this human body. So they were kind of like having a conference, and they were like, okay, so for human beings to remember as Earth is their playground. Where will we put their truth? And some said, let's put it into the stars, into the planets. And then others said, no, because one day humankind, they will have the possibility to travel into other galaxies. They will have the possibility to go to the moon. So if you place it into the planets, no, they will find it there. Then they said, okay, well, let's place it at the very bottom of the oceans. Because the way humans are, they will not have the capacity to go all the way down to the oceans. And then others said again, no, one day they will have submarine boats and they will be able to dive all the way down and they'll find it there. And then one said, why don't we place it in their hearts? Because it is the last place where they would look for that truth. The heart is the last place where they would look for that truth, for their own truth. So in a way, humankind has been created with a powerful thing within ourselves that we have never been invited to look at, because we're coming here, we are being conditioned by a society that is pushing us into the masculine, into our heads, into the mind, only believing into what we can see, you know, and not looking beyond the veils, not feeling where the truth lies. So this is, why do I tell you this story today? It's because when we are going to our hearts, we will find the truth of who we are. We can travel galaxies, we can travel the oceans. You know, humankind has shown it. We ventured out all the way out there, like I did on my travels, only to find the truth, those 30 centimeters between my head and my heart, only to find the truth within myself. So the truth, the love that you are, is not outside yourself. It is within you. And it is now a time where we are invited to hibernate, to slow down, to go within, to find the truth more than ever and live from that place of truth. So this is what I wanted to tell you. And I want to give credit to a beautiful friend that I saw this morning. And she co-inspired, so to speak, this video. And I want to share with you what she told me. I always talked about our minds being the servant and the heart being the master. The mind is the servant, the heart is the master. We are in a society where we are conditioned to have our mind as the master and our heart is the servant. The heart is beating for us to wake up every morning at 8, to go to work, to stress out, you know, to live a life that society wants us to pay taxes, to do everything that we are taught to do. But the heart is often wishing something completely different. So the heart is actually our guidance system. The heart has a brain on itself. So what my beautiful friend said, she said, the mind is the ambassador of our hearts. Look at your heart like the country and look at your mind as the ambassador. And this is, in the end, my dear friends, it is what we are experiencing. Every feedback that you get from someone, every word that someone tells you is a word from their ambassador. And depending on how much the ambassador represents the country or its own interests, its conditioned interests, the ambassador is always a reflection of where you are in your own journey into your heart. Isn't that a beautiful way to finish today's message to you? I hope it inspires you as much as it inspired me. Thank you for having spent these precious 15 minutes with me today. It was wonderful connecting with you, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.